जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यमुना तीरावनचारी।
यमुना तीरा वनचारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी।
जय राधा माधव
कुंज बिहारी।
गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
गिरिवरधारी।
यशोदनंदन व्रज जन रंजना।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यमुना तीरावनचारी।
यमुना तीरा वनचारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
You can sit here. Yeah. I was just showing them darshan here. They can all have darshan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे।
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे।
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare
Hare Bol.
Hare Bol. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nimai Nimai ki jai. Long Island ISKCON Temple ki jai.
ఎక్కడది
New York లో Long Island Temple.
ఓకే ఓకే ప్రభు హరే కృష్ణ
ఈ టెంపుల్ లోనే మేము ఉన్నాము. మా పిల్లలు అక్కడే పుట్టారు.
గ్రేట్ కదా
It's our house, I can say.
You can take, you can have, yeah. Okay. You have that Mangalacharan? Okay, I have.
Special class?
Yeah, it's a Zoom class. We have Bhagavad Gita every Saturday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you can greet Prabhuji here, Mahapurush Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభు
He came from California.
హరే
Very
కృష్ణ
nice.
హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభు
This is North Carolina?
They're all over.
Oh,
There are many other
Zoom.
families. Yeah. And we have Chandramohan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome to our class. We are very happy that you are there with us. Hare Krishna.
He is also an IT person. We
Very
have
nice.
Nimai Pandit Prabhu here.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
What is this going on?
It's a Zoom class. Yeah. Okay. Okay. To Mangalachar. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. We can chant together. We can chant together. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासां ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। So today we are covering 15th chapter. So just to give a small brief about all the other chapters, somebody had a question. So that's why I'm just covering that first. First, Hare Krishna and welcome to everyone, all the devotees present online, offline, hybrid and on YouTube. Welcome and Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining in. So, as we all know, there are 18 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. So, the first chapter is basically the introduction, the setting the scene of the Bhagavad Gita. And Arjuna was overwhelmed whether what type of decision he should take. So that is one of the symptoms when we are overcome by the lower modes, we do not have clarity what to do, what not to do. So Arjuna was in that condition. So in the second chapter was primarily a summary of all the chapters where what Krishna is going to cover. And he was actually covering that we are not this body, and that's the root cause of suffering when we identify ourselves as the body. So in the third chapter, he graduates the topic by saying how by practicing karma yoga, because we are all fruitive. Whatever we do, we want a result. And we think we are owner of that result. So that's the first stage. Krishna covers that in the karma yoga. Then he explains that you can get little more gyan to understand what is what. So then he tells about Jnana Yoga in fourth chapter. Then when you have Jnana and combine Karma Yoga, it becomes action in Krishna consciousness. So that is the fifth chapter. And then the sixth chapter, he covers Ashtanga Yoga. And then from seventh chapter onwards, he talks about the most confidential part, which is the Bhakti Yoga from 7th to 12th. So actually Krishna explains how Bhakti is only meant for liberated people. So unless you have cleared Karma, Jnana, Ashtanga and other yogas and Sankhya yogas, only then you are eligible for Bhakti. But then we are all practicing Bhakti directly. So how is that happening? Why are we admitted into Bhakti? So Bhakti Yoga is so powerful, it can accommodate not only the liberated people, but even conditioned souls like us, including the sinners, including the Chandalas, including the Yavanas, all types of people can be uplifted simply by practicing Bhakti Yoga. And just now we were hearing Prabhupada saying, it all begins with Srota Vyadishu, just by hearing. No other qualification is needed. So that much. So Bhakti, even though we are not ready, even though we are in the bodily consciousness, we are accommodated. But the idea is to quickly come up to the stage of Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotion. That's the point. Then Arjuna asks several questions. Yes.
And this direct availability of Bhakti Yoga is only made possible because of the spiritual.
It is only because of the spiritual master. Yes. So the question is, or rather the comment was, this bhakti yoga is made available because of a pure devotee. Otherwise, it is not possible. Bhakti cannot be possible. You cannot get bhakti. Just like you cannot get admission into a big college without a recommendation of another professor. So the same way here also bhakti yoga is generally not available or reachable to people. What people practice bhakti normally in every religion also is through sentiment. So that type of sentiment of bhakti we are not talking about. So this is much deeper than that. Sentimentally, we all understand what is bhakti. We think it's a kind of a devotion. We all go to temple. We become religious people. That is at a very superficial level. That is bhakti, because in that stage we are still not understood why we are doing bhakti. Rather, we understand very clearly why we are doing bhakti. It is only to satisfy our material needs. So if you are a godly person, you are, following the God's law, then all your comforts are provided without much struggle. So why not be a humble and faithful citizen? Just like we all like to be law-abiding citizens. We all know why if you don't file your taxes, what happens, If you don't follow the red light, you know what happens. So we like that we all are practicing some form of religion. But this bhakti yoga from chapter 7 to chapter 12, it actually engages us to go into deeper levels of connecting ourselves with the Supreme Lord. In fact, this very 15th chapter, first sloka, talks about this. If you were to memorize just the important slokas, 15.1, the first sloka, and the 15th sloka are the most important slokas of this chapter, even though every chapter, every sloka is very important. Now, this sloka, what it is explaining is how this material world is looking like just like an inverted banyan tree. How do you imagine an inverted banyan tree? It is very difficult. But if you go on the lake, you can see the reflection inside the lake. The banyan tree is like inverted, like the branches are growing down and the roots are like feeling like going up. It looks like rivers, right? So Krishna is giving this example. Why? Because in this world, whatever we are perceiving, whatever we are seeing is just like the reflection, means everything is inverted. It is very difficult to understand what is everything is inverted, because for us everything is looking clear. There is no inversion here. So the best example is the mirror. In the mirror, when you see, it looks everything correct. But if you carefully see, your right became left. It's laterally flipped. Everything is flipped. That's the best example we can see. But then imagine yourself continuously, 24 hours, you're looking only in the mirror. Then what happens? Your life, you get used to, even though you're moving left hand, it feels like it's right hand. So everything is inverted. So you stop looking outside, but everything you see only in the mirror. All your activities, everything, then it feels very real. It feels very real. In fact, nowadays, to explain that more clearly, we have these VR glasses. Now people are wearing that VR glasses. It's a virtual reality, right? Virtual reality. Then imagine a person is wearing that for 24 hours. Then for him, what happens? He's cut off from the actual reality. So-called actual reality. We feel like this is real, but the guy who's wearing the VR glasses, that is real.
That is the cheap imitation of Christians.
Oh, exactly. Now, how do you wake that person up? I mean, like, tell him it is like, he's waving his hands in the air, he's smiling, he's laughing, but rest of the people, they are looking at him and what is going on with this guy? So if you want him to come back to reality, what you should do? Just take off his glasses. The same way, here Krishna is explaining how this banyan tree, inverted banyan tree, we all are inside these branches and the twigs and it's intertwined and all that. So he gives the example how we have identified with this body. Now the extension of this body, our father, mother, and our wife and our children and the house, they're all like branches and they're all intertwined. And it feels so real for us. It is so real for us. Now just imagine the same way, another example. Suppose if you are really inside a forest, completely lost, and it's very dark, so many things. Like you can imagine the worst way how you got lost inside a forest. And you filled with anxiety. And whoever you meet, there is nobody, first of all. Suppose if you find somebody, then you will ask, can you get me out of this forest? I want to go back home. Just, I want to go home. Somehow, can you reach me? How desperate you will be, correct? But inside that forest, while you're going through, you're having fear, you're seeing some animals, wild animals, is that everything. And you're also screaming with fear. But just say for a minute that actually that's a dream. And you are sleeping and other people around you, are loved ones, they're seeing, what is this guy doing? He's just screaming in the dream. All they have to do is wake you up. That's all, right? And all that so much complicated, fears and all the complicated journey you're going through the forest, it's over just like that. What happened? One sound. One sound woke you up and you got out. Right? That's all it happened. Sound. So you'll see this very detailed explanation in the Bhagavatam, how from sound, Omkara, Om sound, all this creation, this VR, virtual reality is created. Just with sound. There's nothing else. There are a lot of experiments also done, right? There is some sand put on the vibration. You put, correct, make a vibration, the sound, matter, the sand makes patterns.
Yeah.
Right? So sound can create a lot of things. So through sound, everything, all the elements are embedded one over the other. It's called Brahmanda or Mahat Tattva. So the 5 elements, Panchabhuta, and the subtle elements, Ahankara, Buddhi, intelligence, all these are combined together. But with sound, activating through sound, they all are taking form of some forms, material forms they are taking. So the same way, the opposite, the same sound can also take you out of this illusion.
Is it sound is finer than ether,
Yes, sound is finer than ether.
and it's finer than false ego.
It's finer than everything.
That's why it goes.
Exactly. So because sound is finer than everything, the same sound vibration, the spiritual sound vibration, why are we chanting Hare Krishna so much?
So, it's not in the description of the 8 elements. It's not one of them. Is that because it's like,
Yeah, it's beyond that.
yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
that's actually like a spiritual thing.
Right. Correct. Of course, the categorization of elements, Krishna gives so many ways, so many places. Sometimes he talks about 8.
Yeah.
Here in this chapter, he talks about 6 senses. You're suffering with 6 senses. You're struggling with 6 senses. So he counts mind as a 6th sense, but mind is also combined, buddhi, manas, buddhi, ahankar, all 3 combined as mind. That also, all 3 together is subtle and it's considered as one in the mind. Yeah. So you'll see that. Manasasthana indriyani. Is this one 5th one?
6th.
No, not 6. Oh, the seventh. Okay. Mamevamsho jivaloke jivabhuta sanatana manasastani indriyani prakritistani karshati. You can see that. The living entity in this world are eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. So he here is categorizing as six.
So here it is talking about senses,
Correct.
and those 8 are elements of our constitution.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. So totally 24 elements. In the 24 elements,
Five visible
five are
senses.
senses.
5 visible senses plus one.
Yes.
So the
Yeah.
working- 5 working senses.
5 working senses. Yes. And 5 sense objects. And 5 elements. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. And the 3 plus the soul. Like that. So we are all eternal fragmental parts of the, and then why this discussion from 13th chapter and 14th chapter come about is because Arjuna asked the question, finally, what is Deha? What is Dehi? What is Jnana? What is Gneyam? So he's asking these questions for our clarity. So what is body? What is a field? What is a field of activities? All these questions he's asking for our benefit because we are living in this field and there are a lot of field, all the interactions, it's called field of activities. So he asked those questions. So Krishna is clarifying to those points. So the 3 gunas, the 3 modes of material nature. So that's the previous chapter we covered. So now here it is the yoga of the supreme. How to actually go back to the supreme, and meaning basically how to get out of this forest of delusion, and go back to Krishna. That's ultimately the message is one consistent message. So Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita for one simple reason. It is like an invitation back to his house. It's a love letter. He's brought a love letter. That's the Bhagavad Gita. And that consistently you will see. See, generally people think it's very complicated. We can't understand Bhagavad Gita. It's so difficult. But actually, everybody, whoever talks, at the end of the talk, you have to give a summary, right? So I tell again and again, all you have to do is open the last slokas of every chapter and keep reading that. All the slokas will be exactly same message. Yes.
Say that again.
The ending of all the slokas of every chapter, if you see the ending is exactly consistent. If you want, we can go through that.
Show me after.
I can, no, because everybody would like to see that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, first, since we are here, 15th chapter, we can see this.
I'm blind, so-
Or can I can enlarge it. Oops.
He's hungry.
Okay. So now, see, this is a very small chapter actually. It's about, okay, 20 slokas. Now, see here, what is the conclusion? He's saying, whoever knows me as a supreme personality of Godhead without doubting, that's very important, is to be understood as the knower of everything. Because in the 13th chapter, Arjuna asked the question, what is jnanam? What is knowledge? So here Krishna is reconfirming that same point. The one who knows Krishna as the Supreme Lord is the knower of everything. And he therefore engages himself in full devotional service.
Can you clarify that everything? Because I think if as if you say that to someone who is an outsider, let's say, or
Okay.
even a scientist,
Right.
like everything, that's all encompassing.
Yes.
I think as devotees, we understand that everything means that all you need to know is Krishna. But someone else may take that everything to mean like now you know everything about mathematics, you know everything about right? So,
Right.
um, yeah, can you clarify?
Sure. So Prabhu is saying when somebody who's not a devotee reads this sentence, might think, oh, if I know Krishna, then I should know everything. Means what? Mathematics, calculus, I should know geometry, I should know physics, chemistry. Is that all included in this everything?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Actually, there was a similar question put to Prabhupada. So one guy said, oh, you are a devotee. If you are a devotee, then you should be, you told, if you know Krishna, you should know everything. Then can you tell me how many windows are there in a skyscraper building? Then immediately, you know what Prabhupada said? Oh, it's like you're asking me, can you tell me how many drops of water are there in a mirage?
In the mirage.
So as long as you know you're talking about a mirage, then what is the point of counting the drops of water? You're silly.
Never heard that. It's like a morning walk.
Yeah. So everything means whatever is there in this material world, this itself is illusion. It's like you're asking the details of the dream.
Yeah.
Why do I care? As long as I know it's a dream, that's it. Immediately all that is clear. Okay. So now you know, this is the conclusion. Basically, you have
But
Yeah.
one more thing I want to add here. But if we want to do something for the Lord, with the desire to do for the Lord will give us whatever is needed because we have full.
covered in this chapter.
Huh?
That is covered in this chapter only.
Okay.
Sarvasya
Okay.
chaham hridi sannivishta. 15:15. This is the second sloka I was saying you should learn.
I was telling the meaning of it.
Sannivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha vedescha sarver ahameva vedyo vedanta krit vedavit eva chaham. So he's saying, because I'm seated in, oh sure, okay. Because I'm seated in everybody's heart, see the translation. Whatever you need to remember and whatever you need to forget, both are coming from me. Both are coming from me. So he will make you remember what is needed only, and he'll make you forget what is not needed. That is Krishna's mercy. Indeed, and that's, he says, I am the compiler of the Vedas and I am the person to be known from the Vedas. So most of the time people do not understand or rather do not believe, even though we know law of karma, why we are doing all this. The next life, who has seen it? Who has seen next life? We have not seen. But Prabhupada says, just like how a child, definitely he's growing up, he's going to have a, let's say the mature life is the next life for the baby. That is real. The same way, that is why, because you know it is so much clear that you're growing to go up and you need to have a career, that is why even though you're a baby, you're sending him to school and college to learn all these things. The same way, a devotee who's completely knowledge, when he leaves this body, he continues to remain, he continues to live. So he's cultivating this course. Bhagavad Gita is his enrollment. This is his course for the next life. So that is why he's very interested in learning about Krishna and the Vedas. In fact, recently somebody sent one video, WhatsApp video, that there was a person who died in 9/11, and he took birth after 3 years. He took birth in some other family, and whenever he goes to school or anywhere, he's a small boy, to ask him to draw something, he will draw two skyscrapers, one plane dashing into it. Apparently, he told the name, he told everything, and that guy actually jumped off from a 110th floor. And all the names, whatever he told, later they went back and saw everything was correct. And this person was, this boy never saw a skyscraper building, how it looks. And he did everything. So sometimes we think we need some kind of a proof like this to validate it. But actually, if you chant the holy names of Krishna, what happens? That belief system becomes very deep inside you that I'm not this body, I'm the spirit. That belief system comes. That is why Bhagavad Gita cannot be understood if you are not applying yourself as a disciple, as a student into the process. If you do not apply the process, you cannot actually get it. It will remain very theoretical. And if it is theoretical, you cannot actually understand the topic more. So
You
here,
can
Krishna,
you can tell about the third sloka, no, little bit, because we are in this illusion, and how to get rid of it, because this is very important sloka according to me. You can point little bit on that.
yeah. So this is the topic I was saying, where this illusion, just like we are saying, I'm so convinced this is my family, this is my children, this is my house. How can I think this is not real? How can I think it is not real when everything is so real? It feels so real, because moment you stop all your activities, that's the next thing that you're actually doing, because you're so convinced this is my reality. We are all living this reality. So what is Krishna telling here? No one can understand where it begins, where it ends, or where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down this tree with the weapon of detachment. So we have discussed several times, when you chant the holy names of Krishna, there are two things that should happen to you. What are the two things? Anybody?
Sorry, say again.
When Krishna is saying there is a weapon of detachment, you have to take that weapon of detachment, you have to cut these branches. So what is that weapon of detachment? How do you get that detachment? When you chant Hare Krishna, two things will come. Two things will manifest automatically. Just like
Prabhu is
when
asking to the group. Anybody wants to say the
anybody-
answer?
before the fruit comes, there is a bud and there are flowers, right?
అభ్యాసము వైరాగ్యము.
ఎలా వస్తుంది?
అభ్యాసం వైరాగ్యం.
అవును, అభ్యాసం ఏంటి? అభ్యాసం చేస్తే ఎలా వస్తుంది?
చాంటింగ్ చేయడమే.
చాంటింగ్ చేయడం వల్ల రెండు వస్తాయి. ఆ వైరాగ్యం ఒకటి, రెండోది
అభ్యాసం చేయాలి.
అభ్యాసం చేస్తున్నారు, చాంటింగ్ చేస్తున్నారు, అభ్యాసము చాంటింగ్ చేస్తున్నారు, అభ్యాసము కరెక్టే మీరు చెప్పింది. రెండు వస్తాయి, ఒకటి కాదు. There are two things.
भक्ति के दो, जैसे हम भक्ति में प्रोग्रेस कर रहे हैं, तो दो चीजें हमें पहले हमको मिलती है. वो क्या है प्रभु पूछ रहे हैं?
ज्ञानम
वैराग्यम. Two things will manifest in your heart as you are chanting Hare Krishna. Transcendental knowledge and detachment. Yes, Divya Gyan. So unless you get these two things, you cannot become detached. What does that mean? That means you will perceive this existence is an illusion. My mother used to tell, before chanting Hare Krishna, she would say, whenever I think of my children, because they are very far away, she feels attached, and tears come from her eyes. She feels so detached, so attached, that she feels that they are very, very far away from me. So now after chanting Hare Krishna, I think the first thing she told was, now I don't feel like crying anymore. Correct, Mummy?
Atama.
అవును అంతే
Correct. So that is a
ఇప్పుడు
first.
ఏడుపు రాదు ఏడుపు దమ్ము వచ్చేది వాళ్ళ మీద ఉంటే అది గ్యాస్ ఉంటుంది అంతే
Correct. So that's the first symptom basically. But it's not very deep. She still has attachment that is not gone, but the deep attachment has decreased.
What is that?
Which place?
It says, so doing, one must seek that place from which, having once gone,
One never returns.
What is that place?
So Krishna explains what is that place. Yes.
That's sixth.
Yeah. This is the place. Na tad bhashyate suryo na shashanko na bhavakaha yad gatva na nivattante tad dhamma paramam mama. Yes, it's Vaikuntha. So moment you go there, you will never come back here. And how is he telling what is the difference? That place does not need any sun, moon or anything to light up. No electricity needed. It is glowing automatically from Krishna's effulgence, bodily effulgence. So that is where he's telling we should go. That is our home. In our home, there is no electricity bill. So don't worry about that.
So the, because in this, Orion camp, this, this philosophical, I'll call it deviation or difference. They said that
Even a
fallen.
leaf doesn't fall from Vaikuntha.
So never fall. So, but for, I guess for the pure devotee, they're not falling; they're coming by.
Correct.
By service.
Right.
So
They're not falling. Yeah, they have a choice to go wherever they want. So the Prabhu is making a point. There are some people who think even a leaf in Vaikuntha does not fall down. Even a leaf in Vaikuntha does not fall. Meaning every living entity is Jiva who is completely self-realized, who is in Vaikuntha. So that is why in that connection, no leaf in Vaikuntha falls. Okay. So how is it then we are all here? So Prabhupada says it's only one time. Because Bhogavanchakari, because we wanted to enjoy separately from Krishna, we have come here. Krishna, Bahir Mukha Jeev. We have turned our face away from Krishna. Bahir Mukha Jeev. We have turned our face. That's why we came here, but it's only once. But after you go there, you'll never come back. So that's the point. But then why pure devotees like Prabhupada come here? That is only for saving us. Prabhupada gives the example, just like sometimes a king, he goes to the jail. Now, when he goes to the jail, he wants to give freedom to those criminals. But the criminals, they are thinking, oh, look at this. Even the king is like us. He is behind the bars. Because when you see across the bars, for him also, he can see he is behind the bars. So we might also think from our conditional state that these liberated souls also are like us, but they are not.
But then also, after going back, if you want to come back, let's say to help Prabhupada in this mission, or how does that, is that also a choice?
Yeah, you can choose. You can choose to do that. So Prabhu is asking, so what if like Prabhupada, if after I go back to Vaikuntha, then if I want to come and do this service to help, the conditioned souls. So yes, there is a choice. We can, if we want, we can also join Srila Prabhupada and,
You have seen this movie, The Matrix?
Yes.
So they're doing this. They've gotten out, and then they're going, okay, we go back in to help, right?
Yeah, they're confused. They're messed up with their ideas. Of course, what happens in places like Matrix, they call it quantum entanglement. That's a new physics term. what they say is you actually present, a copy of you is present in all the universes. Yeah, it's called a quantum entanglement. That's a new thing. But there are devotees now, Rasraj Prabhu and others, who are actually explaining the quantum physics that we live in a quantum realm. It's a very difficult subject. Basically, they can prove you are seeing me, but actually I'm not there. Because you are observing this, but actually these are all atoms. And atom, when you say it's atom itself is not having a particular form unless it is observed.
You cannot trust atoms.
And you cannot trust atom because it is,
they make up everything.
They make up everything. So it's a different concept altogether. And we are not going there. And actually, it is similar to this virtual reality only. But devotees are not so interested in engaging in that kind of a discussion. We are happy to understand if Krishna is there, and this is the impersonal form of the Lord. Just like Prabhupada is explaining the impersonal form.
Okay. But
Yeah.
Krishna is even within the atom.
Krishna is within the atom also, correct?
So something is there. It's impossible for something not to. Right?
Yeah.
If Krishna is there,
yeah.
so then how can they say?
So that is why it's called Parashya Shaktir Vividheva Sruyate. So Prabhu is saying, why are we not interested in the atom? Because even inside the atom, Krishna is there. So devotees should be interested in
Well, I
that
wasn't
also.
quite saying that, but that's a good point. But I'm saying from a physics standpoint, they're saying that nothing is there.
That's correct. Actually, Prabhupada, today's class, he was saying, the matter is important as long as the soul is there. If the soul is not there, he gives the example of a ghost city. The city is interesting only when people are there. But people are not there. What is the use of that city? It's a ghost city. Same way, body is interesting as long as the soul is there. As soon as the soul is left, the matter is useless.
But okay, so.
So in a very deep sense, that even the matter is run by Krishna. So that is why there is some significance. So unlike Mayavada theory, the Vaishnavas do not say that matter is illusion. The form of matter is what Madhvacharya says is what is permanent is the temporary nature of matter is permanent.
Right.
Like a river. River is continuously flowing and it's continuously changing. So change is permanent. So permanent means it should not change, but change is permanent.
Yeah.
So that we understand as matter actually is there. But what form it takes, that is temporary. All the stages keep changing all the time.
That means it's nature.
No, nature itself, Prakriti is there. Prakriti is there.
In the sense that
Prakriti is
it's not
real.
eternal. It's always existing because it's unlimited because it's Krishna, but the substance itself is temporary.
Correct.
Yeah. So its nature is
Yes.
Is asat or
Asat. Asat. Sat and Asat. Yeah. So those are the 5 topics basically Bhagavad Gita talks about, right? Prakriti is one of them. And of all, everything of the 5, 4 are eternal. 1 is not eternal. That is karma. Okay. So I was talking about how I think the ending of all the chapters, and it's not easily going back. Okay. So Krishna, this is again the supreme yoga. Krishna is showing his opulence, how all the planets are floating only because Krishna entered into it. Krishna entered into every single planet. That is the reason by my energy they stay in the orbit. So they say, because of gravity it is staying there, but gravity proper says it's just one of the energies of Krishna, and Krishna decides to keep the energy like that. That is why they are floating. The moment Krishna decides, now all the universes are going to collapse. They all collapse and go back into Krishna. So
I have a very stupid question.
the question is stupid.
In this age, when we say that everything can be copied or concocted in a different way. I'm so sorry, but I want to know Bhagavad Gita.
Raju,
Uh-huh.
Raju,
ఒక్క నిమిషం.
Do you think over the years have passed by, somebody might not have changed these wordings?
Luckily for Bhagavad Gita, it is not changed.
How are we sure?
Because there is till now there is no second version of Bhagavad Gita, at least the original slokas. There is no second version.
Is there any copy, any Tamrapatra, anything which is like can relate back to say 5,000 years back, kind of?
It seems there is a copy kept in Germany in one of the folios they have maintained, the original manuscripts. I don't know the validity of this.
One more question, like, which is once this Gita was spoken during the battlefield, right? In the battlefield. After that, it is said in our scriptures that Pandavas lived around 35 more years.
Correct.
35 years.
Correct.
So did they try to propagate that?
Yes.
That time?
Yes. In fact, that 36 years that Pandavas lived, it says the entire world became Krishna conscious. That much only they needed.
Then geographically, this world was like this, like Russia, China, and all that.
I don't know about the maps. There's a lot of study on that. What is Bharatavarsha? But from what we understand, all the land was under Yudhishthir Maharaj. All the land. That's what we understand.
Because he did the Ashwamedh Yaga, no?
Yeah, he did the Ashwamedh Yaga, and later you will also find in Bhagavatam that the sons of Bharat Maharaj has other brothers. Rishabdev's sons, 100 sons he has, and other brothers did not want to be fully Krishna conscious. So he gave away some land to his brothers, like Greeks, Huns, all the kingdoms were mentioned there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
In
also,
Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah, in Bhagavatam it's there. Bhagavatam is
I think Prabhupada also said that
That is before 5,000 years. Before Yudhishthir Maharaj also, you're talking. Tell them that.
that left India and went to
No,
make their own.
Yeah, because
make their own.
people these days, so many people keep saying so many things. I just want to concrete my belief that because more and more places we go and
yeah, it is there because it is basically it's all coming from our Vedic culture only. So they modified their own thing. Like
But
right now also we see there are people from Guyana and other places. They are actually originally their ancestors are from Tamil Nadu or somewhere, and they have those traits. But then if you see their practices completely modified, it's like mutated. So these people also in Greek and other civilizations, it's mutated from whatever they have learned.
There's that one Prabhupada disciple, Stephen Rosen. Or something.
Stephen Rosen, Satyaraj Das.
Yeah, he wrote a book. Forget the
Of Vedic
title.
origins.
Yeah,
Vedic origins. There is actually the entire article is there. Not article, actually made a book. Vedic
But
origins.
one point I want to make about Prabhu was asking, no, that how do we know that the Bhagavad Gita is original? That is the whole point. If it is coming in Guru Parampara, that is the reason we are accepting this as it is, right? Because it is 500 years
No,
back,
that
1000
he
years.
understands. His
No, no.
main question is if
The-
the sloka itself is
Correct.
changed or not.
Yeah, that's the point I'm saying. So the Madhvacharya, what he has written, he also got it in Guru Parampara. No, it's
Correct.
coming down, right? We are talking about from Madhvacharya to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to us. That
Correct.
is okay, but it has come before that also in the Guru Parampara. So that is why we have to accept it that as it is, it is. Also, they would have been somebody or the other with the original, they'll say no, but there is nothing. Everybody follows these same slokas. There is no change in the, slokas.
There's no escaping.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, and actually 100 years back or 200 years back, all the Mathadipatis or everybody, they will make sure, no, they were more together, right? Today, it is even more possible. But those
Correct.
days, they
Not-
were completely, yeah.
So in just being sensitive to time, my
Yeah.
daddy had a question.
Yeah.
Nani me question.
మాదేంటంటే ఎండింగ్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ చాప్టర్ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఒకటే అన్నావు కదా ఎండింగ్
Similar.
సిమిలర్ కదా పంచమోధ్యాయంలో ఉంటాడు భోక్తారం యజ్ఞసప్తాం సర్వలోక మహేశ్వరం విహృదం సర్వభూతానాం జ్ఞాత్వా మాం శాంతి ముచ్యతే అని ఉంది.
కరెక్ట్.
అలాగే 6th చాప్టర్ లో యోగినామపి సర్వేషాం మద్గతేనాంతరాత్మాన శ్రద్ధావాన్ భజతే యోమాం సమయయుక్త తమమత.
కరెక్ట్. వాట్ ఇస్ ద మీనింగ్?
ఎలాగైంది?
ఒకటే కదా, నేనే అంతటా సర్వస్వం నేనే అన్నిటికీ నేనే అధిపతిని. 5th చాప్టర్ లో సర్వలోక మహేశ్వరం, నాకన్నా పెద్దవాడు ఎవడు లేడు. అదే అండర్స్టాండింగ్ అలా తెలిసిన వాడు ఎవడు? యోగినామపి సర్వేషాం, అందరు యోగులందరిలోకి టాప్ మోస్ట్ అవుతాడు అలాంటి వాడు. సేమ్ మీనింగ్?
సేమేనా?
సేమే కదండి. మీరు అర్థం చేసుకోండి. భక్తి ఎవరు చేస్తారు? భక్తి యోగం అంటే అర్థం ఏంటి? కృష్ణుడు దేవాది దేవుడు, నేనే దేవాది దేవుడిని అని అర్థం చేసుకున్నవాడు పూర్తి జ్ఞానంతో వాడే భక్తి శ్రద్ధలతో నన్ను పూజిస్తాడు. అటువంటి వాడు యోగులలో ఉత్తముడు. యోగినామపి సర్వేషాం మద్గతేన అంతరాత్మన శ్రద్ధావాన్ భజతే, అంటే ఎంతో శ్రద్ధతో చేస్తున్నాడు. భజతాం ఏం చేస్తున్నాడు? భజతాం, భక్తి చేస్తున్నాడు. సో భక్త. సో భక్తుడు అందరికన్నా గొప్ప యోగి. నెక్స్ట్ 7th చాప్టర్ చూడండి, లాస్ట్.
You want me to bring?
లేదు చెప్తాను. 7th చాప్టర్ లో ఏంటంటే సాధిభూతాది దైవం మాం సాధి యజ్ఞంచే విధు ప్రయాణ కాలేపి మాం తే విద్యుర్యుక్త చేతసః.
అంటే ఎవరైతే నేనే, ఐఎమ్ దోస్ హు నో మీ యాజ్ అ సుప్రీం లార్డ్, సేమ్ పాయింట్. సర్వలోక మహేశ్వరం యాజ్ ద గవర్నింగ్ ప్రిన్సిపల్ ఆఫ్ ద మెటీరియల్ మేనిఫెస్టేషన్. నా నుంచే మొత్తం సృష్టి, ఈ మెటీరియల్ సృష్టి కూడా వచ్చిందో. హూ నోస్ మీ యాజ్ ద వన్ అండర్లయింగ్ ఆల్ ద డెమిగాడ్స్, అంటే దేవతల్ని కూడా సృష్టించిన వాడిని నేనే. అండ్ ఆల్ సస్టైనింగ్ ఆల్ ద సాక్రిఫైసెస్ విత్ స్టెడ్ ఫాస్ట్ మైండ్, అంటే శ్రద్ధావాన్ భజతాం, సేమ్ థింగ్స్ చూడండి. విత్ స్టెడ్ ఫాస్ట్ మైండ్, అండర్స్టాండ్ అండ్ నో మీ ఈవెన్ అట్ ద టైమ్ ఆఫ్ డెత్. కరెక్ట్. ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు 8th చాప్టర్ చూడండి.
వేదేషు యజ్ఞేషు తపస్సు చైవ దానేషు పుణ్య ఫలం ప్రతిష్ఠితం అచ్యతే తత్సర్వమిదం విదిత్వా యోగి పరం తానుపైతి సాధ్యం.
సో మెయిన్ గోల్ ఏంటి? కృష్ణుడు ఏం చెప్తున్నాడు? నా దగ్గరికి రండి అందరూ, ఇదే మన ఇల్లు, నా దగ్గరికి వచ్చేయండి అని చెప్తున్నాడు. కరెక్ట్. సో హీస్ టెలింగ్ అదేంటి అంతకాలే చ మామేవా స్మరణ్ ముక్త్వా కళేవరం. అంతకాలం అంటే ఫైనల్ ఎగ్జామ్. దట్స్ వాట్ వి స్టడీడ్ 8th chapter. వేర్ హీ షుడ్ గో, హీ షుడ్ రీచ్ టు ద సుప్రీం అబోర్డ్. సో వాడికి ఈ భక్తి మార్గంలో ఉన్నప్పుడు వాడికి అన్ని వస్తాయి. వేదేషు యజ్ఞేషు దానేషు తపస్సు చైవ. అన్ని యజ్ఞాల ఫలితము, దానము ఫలితము, జ్ఞానము ఫలితము, అన్ని ఫలితాలు కూడా భక్తి చేయడం వల్ల వస్తుంది. త్రూ ద పాత్ ఆఫ్ డివోషనల్ సర్వీస్. వేరే అవసరం లేదు. నా దగ్గరికే వస్తావు నువ్వు ఎలాగుని. నీకు ఇన్నాళ్ళు ఇక్కడ ఉన్నన్నాళ్ళు నీకు ఇవన్నీ కావాలి, అవన్నీ నీ భక్తి ద్వారా వస్తున్నాయి. అంతకాలంలో నువ్వు నా దగ్గరికే వస్తావు. ఎలాగా? భక్తి చేస్తున్నావు కాబట్టి. 9th chapter చూడండి.
9th chapter లో మన్మనా భవత్తు మధ్యాజీమాం నమస్కురు మామే వైశ్యసి యుక్త్వేయం ఆత్మానం మత్పరాయణః.
సో దీన్నే నేను లవ్ లెటర్ అంటున్నాను. ఐ కాల్ దిస్ as లవ్ లెటర్ because this is the most important thing. He's telling, I love you, you love me. You engage continuously in thinking of me. Unless you are in love with me, you cannot do that. So I call this the love letter. The entire Bhagavad Gita. This sloka he repeats twice, not once. So 18th chapter లో కూడా మళ్ళీ గుర్తు చేస్తాడు ఇదే. నువ్వు నా భక్తుడి అవ్వు. భక్తి అంటే ఏంటి? లవ్. యు బికమ్ మై లవర్. హౌ కెన్ యూ లవ్ హిమ్? ఎంతో తెలిస్తే, అన్లెస్ యు ఆర్ కంప్లీట్లీ హ్యావింగ్ నాలెడ్జ్ అబౌట్ కృష్ణ, యూ కెనాట్ గో ఇన్ లవ్ విత్ కృష్ణ. కృష్ణుని ప్రేమించలేము. ఇప్పుడు మనం ఏం ప్రేమిస్తున్నాము? మనకు తెలిసిన విషయాలే ప్రేమిస్తున్నాం. రియల్ ఎస్టేట్ ప్రేమిస్తున్నాం, డబ్బులు ప్రేమిస్తున్నాం. వై? బికాస్ వీ నో అబౌట్ ఇట్. ఇఫ్ యు నో అబౌట్ కృష్ణ, యూ విల్ లవ్ కృష్ణ. సో దట్ ఈస్ ద కంక్లూషన్ ఆఫ్ సేమ్ కంక్లూషన్ ఇట్ ఇస్. అండ్ బీయింగ్ కంప్లీట్లీ అబ్జార్బ్డ్ ఇన్ మీ. సి, ఈ పాయింట్ మళ్ళీ ఇక్కడ ఇప్పుడు స్ట్రెస్ చేస్తున్నాడు. నన్ను తప్ప వేరే ఇంకేమీ ధ్యాస ఉండకూడదు, అప్పుడే నువ్వు నా దగ్గరికి వస్తావు. దట్స్ వాట్ ఈస్ సేయింగ్. యు హావ్ టు బి కంప్లీట్లీ అబ్జార్బ్డ్ ఇన్ మీ. దిస్ ఇస్ శుద్ధ భక్తి. దిస్ ఇస్ శుద్ధ భక్తి. దట్ ఈస్ వై ఇట్స్ అ కాన్ఫిడెన్షియల్ నాలెడ్జ్. నౌ 10th కి వెళ్ళండి.
Meaning is same.
Meaning is same. That's what I'm trying to say. 10th.
Okay. Parallel.
So Krishna is saying, why you need more information? If you want, I'll give you more information. He's saying there is no need of detailed information. Just understand whatever I told you is just 1% of whatever opulence I have. 99% I cannot tell you because you cannot understand. This much only you cannot understand. How much more I'll tell you? You will come to me only, Arjuna. Come back. Don't worry. Right? Make sense, right?
Okay.
11th. No, it's very-
10th అథవా భౌతే
10th finished.
10th అయిపోయింది. I just not read it.
11th.
చెప్తావా?
11th.
10th.
ఇప్పుడే చెప్పు. Exactly. So now 11th, you see, my pure devotional service, one who is engaged in my pure devotional service is free from contamination of previous activities and who is friendly to all living entities, certainly comes to me. Come back home, come back home. That is the message.
మత్కర్మ కృప మత్కర్మ కున్మత్పరమో మద్భక్త సంగవచితః నిర్వైర సర్వభూతేషు యస్సమామేతి పాండవ.
See, mat karma krin, mat paramo, mat bhakta sangha varjita. Bhakta sanghamlone nu vastavu na దగ్గరికి. With the association of devotees. You see? Like that it goes on. So I think I made my point. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else in our group has any questions? Roja Mataji చాలా రోజు తర్వాత వచ్చారు. హరే కృష్ణ. లలిత గారు.
హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభుజీ.
Hare Krishna.
హరే కృష్ణ లలిత గారు. మీకు అర్థమైందా లలిత గారు? సారీ, మొత్తం అంతా ఇంగ్లీష్ లోనే ఉంది కానీ కొంచెం తెలుగు చెప్పారు.
చెప్పారు అంకుల్ అడిగారు కదా, చెప్పారు విన్నాను.
तो किसी को कोई प्रश्न हो तो पूछ सकते हैं. आज प्रभु ओवरव्यू दे रहे थे ज्यादा क्लास का, पूरा भगवत गीता का. So you didn't come to the last actually. Last 6 chapters, what is there? You didn't tell that.
So
Okay.
then it continues the what is divinity and divine, but difference between demons and devotees. He talks about that.
16th chapter.
Yeah. And then he talks about divisions of faith again. The same 14th chapter, how with the 3 gunas. So the faith, he only talks about faith, how faith is divided into 3 gunas. And finally, he comes to conclusion, what is complete perfect renunciation and what actually Krishna wants. It is similar to 2nd chapter, but he covers all the important points about from all the slokas, from all the chapters, sorry.
In the 18th chapter, you're saying?
In the 18th chapter, yeah.
In the 18th chapter. In the 18th chapter, Manmanabha Madbhakto is also there. And of course,
and then he tells about the conclusion. If you are such a premi, you are lover of me, then what you will do? You will not care for anything. So that he calls about surrender, Sharanagati, complete Sharanagati. That is a perfection. And that is the ending of Bhagavad Gita, which is the beginning of Bhagavatam. So it's not ending, it's the beginning. Then your bhakti journey begins. If you understand the 18th chapter conclusion perfectly. Until then, you have not started the journey.
And to learn about Bhagavatam, we need to know who is Krishna. Then only we will understand and the whole topics about Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam is only about the qualities, about his devotees. If we have not understood the basic, who is Krishna, what are his opulences, how he is running this material world, who are we? All these are basics.
So
this is
mainly
ABC.
Bhagavatam is like case studies of all devotees who performed their devotion to Krishna, and how can we take from those examples? Just like in the quote.
Mentors.
Yeah, like mentors. In court also there is a case study. Any case happens, they'll take out, oh, in that case, this is how it is dealt, and that's how you should take the understanding. That is how Bhagavatam is meant for. Actually, all Upanishads also are like that, but this is Bhagavatam is the condensed version of all the Upanishads, 108 Upanishads. The cream, because even in the Upanishads, sometimes there are references, they are not pure devotees. Who are not pure devotees, they are on, even Kacha, they are like, even though they are not perfected, those examples also are there. Maybe somebody is on Brahman realization. So those examples also are there. But in Bhagavatam, there is no compromise.
And
It is everything is from the perspective of a pure devotee.
and the demigods are all pure devotees?
No, that's what the comparison is shown. The contrast is shown when the demigods are not. Some are, but not all. Especially Indra, most of the times, he is not a pure devotee. In fact, there is in one kalpa, because there is no qualified Indra, Vishnu became Indra. Yeah. He takes those roles. Vishnu can choose to become Ganesha, Vishnu can choose to become Brahma, Vishnu can choose to become Indra, like that. So any post is there
You say
who is not
become-
qualified. He takes the role. He takes the role. He's a role play.
May I ask you something, Prabhuji?
Sure.
Then why Krishna ji created demons? Why? If he plays all the roles, then what was the need of creating demons?
He did not create demons. He created, just like imagine you have a video game. Okay. In that video game, you are given lot of freedom. You can do whatever you want. You can create one avatar. You can create whatever avatar you like. in that video game you can create. And that avatar can help, or that avatar can also kill. There are two avatars. It is your choice, right? In the video game. The same way we are playing actually a video game only here. This is Krishna's grand video game. You have all the choice. You can make any choice you want. Krishna is not going to stop you. So, but moment you choose an avatar, the game rules are already predefined.
Avatar ka matlab, one second. Let me just 1 second. Tell the meaning of avatar when you are saying, because in our Hindu culture, we have this word avatar. So please clarify that.
I'm saying in the game world avatar. In the
avatar
game
means,
world.
जो उसका जो character बनाते ना.
Character.
Character. हाँ. गेम में कैरेक्टर बनाते हैं ना, हम चूज कर सकते हैं कि हम
imaginary character.
Yeah, continue. Sorry, I had to clarify this point because avatar, no,
not Bhagwan ka avatar. नहीं, वो avatar नहीं.
The character. हाँ, तो हम लोग एक्चुअली हम सब प्योर हैं, पर कोई एक भक्त जो है, एक प्योर सोल है, पर उसने डिसाइड किया है कि वो भगवान का भक्त नहीं है, बस यही वो डीमन बन जाता है. जो हाईएस्ट लेवल वो सबके
choosing in the game.
Yeah, but then he is stuck in this game because unlimitedly. Yeah, he is unlimitedly going to be in this game only, this material universe. Correct. Because he is chosen birth after birth to be a demon. So why did he choose to be a demon? Because he wanted to lord over, like what Krishna is, he wants to get that in a wrong way. So is that correct way to say?
No, there is no right, wrong. When you see this whole thing as a dream, in the dream, there is no right, wrong. You are basically an illusion. That's all.
No.
In the illusion, anything you do, you are stuck in the illusion. You can never come out of the illusion. So that is not good for the soul, because the soul is like a zombie. The soul cannot think. Soul cannot do anything. Whatever is happening in the dream, you are stuck.
So the demon is what is the quality of a demon? Can you explain what is a demon?
Demon simply means that you do not accept Krishna as the authority. You think you are the master.
Yeah, that's the point I was saying.
You are everything. There is no Krishna.
You want to act like...
This is the mentality of demon. Demon does not mean he has two horns and his black teeth coming out. Nothing like that. Demon simply is a mentality. Mentality, I am the controller. There is no God. I control everything. See how Hitler is thinking. I control everything. So Prabhupada used to tell, he might think he's a controller of a whole world. Hitler might be thinking, but after eating food, he cannot even control his bowel movement. Right? So that is the reality. He cannot control. So we might think I am the controller, but you are not the controller. But the demon continuously thinks that he is the controller. And there is a difference between a devotee and the demon, means who is not a pure devotee. Godly people, when there is a problem, they also want to enjoy. Demon also wants to enjoy the same way. But moment the problem comes, immediately they take shelter of Krishna. They understand, oh, Bhagwan ka blessing nahi hoga to I will not get. He is godly person.
He might not go to Krishna, he might go to the Devi Devata or whatever in his culture they follow, he will go to them.
He's not a demon. Yeah. Demons are like that. They will not go to anyone.
They want to hurt others. That is the point, right? For themselves, they will, if it is for me, if anybody gets hurt, I don't care.
I am first.
I'm first. Yeah. सो ये क्वालिटी जो है वो हमारे जो एक भक्त नहीं रहता है वो मतलब दूसरी तरफ भक्त जो है वो पूरी तरफ इस तरफ है तो डीमन इस तरफ है। पॉइंट ये है भगवान बनाते नहीं है वो जो जीवात्मा है वो चूज करता है।
Another point Prabhu is making is they like the demigods, like saintly people, not saintly, at least even materialistic people, if they do not like to break God's law. Demons don't care for any law. Like a narcissist. Yeah. That's all.
बेसिकली भगवान बनाते नहीं है डीमंस, वो जीवात्मा डिसाइड करती है कि मैं भगवान की सेवा नहीं करना चाहता हूं और वो इस तरफ जैसे हम सब भगवान की सेवा करना चाहते हैं इस तरफ जा रहे हैं, वो और दूर 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 भाग रहे हैं भगवान से। डीमन वही है।
अच्छा ठीक है माता।
ठीक है, और किसी का कोई प्रश्न है? थैंक यू माता जी। और किसी को कुछ कहना है, पॉइंट कहना है या कुछ शेयर करना है?
तो मेरा एक प्रश्न है
Okay.
और वो ये है कि भगवान श्री कृष्ण का जो मतलब मैंने थोड़ा सा जो पढ़ा है उसमें ये एक लिखा है कि भगवान श्री कृष्ण जो है वो भगवान है कि he is a god, supreme god. Okay. Then विष्णु भगवान, महाविष्णु, ये सब उनके एक्सपेंशंस है। और सो जिनको हम लोग विष्णु भगवान बोलते हैं, हम लोग जो मानते हैं वो विष्णु भगवान संकर्षणा का एक्सपेंशन है। ऐसा है क्या सच में?
Yeah. See, the expansions of Krishna, the energies of Krishna are explained in detail. How many varieties and categories, just like you're studying physics. So in general, if you're not studying physics, what you'll think? Everything is God's energy. You will say one word, nature. But if you are a serious student of physics, then you will say, no. Even though everything is nature, there is difference between gravitational force, there is electrical force, there is magnetic force. Like that, in detail, you can tell. Correct? The same way, one common law you can say, God is great. God is very powerful. That's a very general statement. But if you become a very serious devotee and understand how the energies of God are working, then you will know there is difference. First category is there is spiritual energy, there is material energy. Material energy, again, there are so many categories that you will understand. 24 elements, that's one category. And then within that category, there's so many ways to subdivide it. Trigunas are there. These are all energies, but they're all material energy. Now when you talk about spiritual energy, that also you can categorize into three varieties. There is creative energy, there is Samvit Shakti, Haldini Shakti, and Sandhini Shakti. Those three are spiritual energies. And again, in each one, creative Shakti, like you said, it begins with Sankarshana. Like it actually begins with Krishna. God is like the boss. He doesn't have to do anything. Suppose if I ask you to move these chairs, what is the first thing you'll do? You'll take somebody's help.
Yeah.
You can't do alone, you will take somebody's help. But God doesn't do like that. He will only expand. So he first expands as Balaram. Then any work to do with creation, that Balaram has to take care, not me, not Krishna. I'm the boss, I'll not do. So that Balaram also will not do. He has his expansion. So he expands first as Sankarshana. So the first four hands we talk about Vishnu's four hands, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. Like that, it's called a quadruple expansion. Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, Vasudeva. This is called a quadruple expansion.
Right. Yeah. So, because you make this point, Krishna will not do, so Balaram takes the
Charge
charge.
for creative potency. For creative, all the work related to creation is taken care by Balaram.
And everything else he says,
No, he has departments. Everything is departmentalized. Now, everything to do with, screenplay, how to create the situation, like that, like a director.
Beauty.
Right? Like that, that is all done by Subhadra. Now I want to enjoy with the gopis. Okay, all the scene is created. The gopis, the groves, the kunja, everything is created. That is ruled by Hladini Shakti is for entertainment, enjoyment. Hladini Shakti, that is Radharani. And he gives that to Radharani. But everything is Krishna only. But now you cannot say everything is Krishna. In a very general sense, you can say, but if you know deeper and deeper and deep, then you will say, oh no, it is Krishna, but not Krishna. Like that. It's Krishna's energy. Oh, it's basically just like here, Durga Devi is creating all the variety. Using what? Using all the Mahat Tattva, Brahman. That with the combination of three modes of material nature, all that she is doing. The counterpart of that, exactly whatever she is doing here in illusion, she is doing there, also creating illusion. Subhadra. Her creation of illusion is Krishna's sister. Her illusion, what she is creating there is to make you forget that Krishna is a supreme Lord.
Oh, Mahamaya? Is she?
Yeah, she's called Yogamaya. Yogamaya.
Okay. Yeah.
Like Yashoda wanted to enjoy Krishna as a baby. So if she remembers he's God, then she cannot bring a stick. Dantna bhi chahiye na? Yogamaya. So Yogamaya will create that illusion. But they will never forget Krishna. They will only forget other relationships and keep only that relation what is needed for that role play. That's her job.
Because none of the documents, none of the.
It's there. Everything is. Okay, Hare Krishna.
So the three internal potencies, is it also kind of like the three modes, but a spiritual sense?
Spiritually, yes, yes. Right.
I think
Okay.
we'll stop the YouTube
We'll stop
here.
here. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we can just chant Hare Krishna 3 times and
Yeah,
then
and
we
stop.
will stop the class. So we can all come together and chant Hare
Yes.
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Hare.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की
Jai,
पूजा पाठ की
Jai,
प्रभुपाद की
Jai,
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की
Jai.
all glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna,
All glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories and glories to Sri Sri.
1953.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya cha kripa sindhubhya eva cha danam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, असेंबल सारे भक्तों की जय. हरे कृष्णा. और हम कल मिलेंगे फिर से and we'll do Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna, Tataji Garu. Welcome. We are very happy that you were there in the class. And everyone, गंगाधर प्रभु भी बहुत दिनों बाद आए. बहुत